Is Jean in the attendees? Because it says she's waiting for the host.
I don't have any attendees.
Click on the attendee.
I don't have any.
Yeah, there's no zero?
0.
Oh,
Is she in the right?
she's in the wrong meeting.
She's in the right.
Amy, do you want to start the webinar?
They do. They
They,
start.
they do?
Yeah.
She's in the wrong meeting?
So in our calendar, there are 2 at this time.
And then I'll show this to them here as well. Amy, we're all set. We're live.
We're live. All right. Our participants at home, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome. That's what I like to hear. Okay. Okay, it is 7:05. I am going to call this meeting to order. This is the Swampscott Public Schools School Committee meeting, regular session, Wednesday, December 8th at 7:05 p.m. And we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Anybody who can, please rise. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So, normally I would jump into committee announcements, but I'm going to take things a little bit out of order today, if you guys are okay with that.
We just have to start the webinar. It hasn't started the meeting.
You're in practice session.
Oh.
I'm starting it.
So why doesn't this get easier?
Are you doing?
Are we okay now?
Yeah, you're good.
You're live.
Okay. So I am going to jump right in because this is ultimately why we're all here. I love seeing all these kids sitting here in the audience. Yeah. As well as I see Mr. Pierce on Zoom with some of his students. So I am going to jump right in and turn this over to you, Mr. Pierce. We have our performing arts students who made district and all state. And rather than me introducing them and talking a little bit about them, I would love to hear from you, Mr. Pierce, if that's okay. And let me, I believe I need to have you unmute yourself, so give me a moment. Oh, you are unmuted. Okay, Mr. Pierce.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm James Pierce. I'm the choral director at Swampscott High School, among other things. And we had several chorus students audition for senior district chorus this year. We had 5 make it. We're very excited about that. But I guess the really exciting news is those 5 students all earned high enough scores to be recommended for all state auditions. So districts is our northeastern quadrant of the state, and now they'll be participating in the Northeastern Senior District Chorus, and now they'll also be auditioning for all state chorus, which draws from all the best singers in the entire state. So we're very, very excited about that. We have, I think, 3 of our 5 here. So maybe you can give us a little wave. Aurora Corrado, who is a senior. August Kushkov, who is a junior. And Sydney McCoy, who is, we have 4. Sydney McCoy, who is a sophomore, and Eve Levy, who is a senior. So we also Josh Shiloh is a junior this year, and he wasn't able to make the Zoom meeting tonight. So we're super excited. So now they'll be participating in senior district chorus rehearsals and concert in early January, and also in January preparing for the all-state audition. And while I have your attention, we have a concert next week, December 16th, that is going to feature chorus, North Shore Voices, jazz band, and concert band, and our visual arts students are going to have their art show in the atrium beginning, I believe, at 5:30 or 6 on the same evening. So that's free and open to the public. Of course, we're requiring that everyone wear masks, but we really welcome everyone from the community to attend.
I just want to say, and I probably say this every time we invite Jim here for this event, is that I know how hard it is to go to Northeast districts. I have records, which you kids probably don't know what they are, with my name on the back of it because I played in the Northeast District orchestras. I was never good enough to make it to all states. So this is a real accomplishment. So proud of you kids. I know what it takes to do those auditions, and in my day we went into these little rooms and you had to just audition that way. I'm sure some of it's virtually now, but congratulations. It's a huge accomplishment. Very proud of all of you. And as I said, never invited to all states, so that's all right. Well done.
I'll say, that sounds like a big representation from Swampscott High.
Yeah, sure does.
That's great. Congratulations, everybody.
Yes, well done.
Good luck.
Yes.
Good
Mr.
luck.
Pierce, just
Break a leg.
question for you. Having attended the fall play, I was really impressed with the masks and the fact that it seemed so seamless for your students. I would imagine it wasn't, but they made it seem as though it was. Similar kinds of, is that what's happening at the chorus as well?
Yes. So we're spread out on the risers, still using the performance masks. Everyone in the audience is going to be masked. And I think we'll probably push back the center section a little bit so there's some more space there as well.
Well, congratulations for making it work. It was really fun to watch those kids on stage for the play, and I would imagine it'll be really fun for the chorus as well. And thanks for the kids for putting up with it, making the best of it.
We're really excited to be performing again.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Pierce.
Thank you.
And you guys don't have to feel like you need to stay on. I'm sure that there's lots of stuff on your agendas tonight that is not including the school committee.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, I would like to, I'm scanning the room for Coach Russo. I would like to call you up, Ms. Russo, and talk about your fabulous team, of which
You can.
I have to confess, obviously, I have a personal stake in it, as does Ms. Marshall. So we're really happy to see you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. We just want to thank you guys for inviting us here, and we had a really fun season. We have a fair amount of the players here with us tonight, and just excited to be here and back on the field. You know, they've worked really hard, and we had our best season, I think, in school history this year. So we went on to compete, and we ended up losing in the state semifinals, but had a strong record and played really well all year just as a team. And you know, I think we had a lot of successes together as a team, and it was just, above all, great to succeed and do well out there. But we just had our banquet on Sunday, and talking a little bit about that and kind of reflecting on the season more than the success, we were just really excited and glad to be out there. I think it was just a nice place to kind of channel our energy and put, you know, our efforts into something that was positive and give all of the families of all of these players something to look forward to and something to go to. And being in the classroom and, you know, teaching and coaching for 23 years now, getting back on track after the pandemic is difficult. So having this was, you know, normalcy and a new normal, I guess. So it was a really positive thing for our team this season, and I think all of our fall athletes and families and just the town. So we were proud to represent. So thank you.
you want to introduce everybody, or have
You
your
want me to introduce
captains
all of
introduce? Or maybe have you introduce your captains and have your captains
Sure, sure.
introduce them? Yeah, but, everybody should have their minute in the
Sure,
spotlight.
so I can go around and introduce them all. So right here we have Maisie Russo. I can't even see you.
Wave.
There's Ella Shanna, you guys can wave. Gracie Silverman, Ella Carlin, Sophia Ciciotti, Daniela, Cece O'Connor, Nicolette, Sid Marshall, Emma Reen, Paige Quagrello, Sawyer, Lucy, Gabby, is that you right there? There's Gabby, Brooke, Coco, Aubrey, Isabella, Chloe, Olivia, and I think that's all of mine. Yeah, so we have some that couldn't make it tonight, but those are the ones that are here. So thank you for having us here. Thank you for
Congratulations.
giving us the
Congratulations.
Yeah, we're really proud to have you guys here. I'm not going to say anything else because I know Ms. Marshall wants to.
All right, all I want to say is that I'm so proud of these girls, not just
And boy.
because, and boy, sorry. I say that all the time and I want to kick myself. Not just because they won, but because they were so good to each other. You could see it through the season, just the way they were on and off the field, and to just go through that season and then get into the playoffs. It was so fun, even just to watch, to be there. I mean, you guys were amazing. It was kind of inspiring, and it just got funner and funner. You know what I mean? It was just, it was awesome.
It was fun. I mean,
It was.
Just a quick, I said this at the banquet too, and I'll just kind of, it was fun to give attention to something, but we also, I said this at the banquet, and they know it because we kind of laughed, but it was really nice. There were a bunch of younger kids around us watching us warm up and practice after, I think, our first or second round that we won, and we had started to draw some attention. And some of the younger kids kind of went up to some of the players that were on the side getting ready, the goalies that were gearing up, and they just, said, "Are you guys the varsity?" And they just said, "We watched your game," and that they were their idols. So it was nice to kind of see and get some attention on a sport, that doesn't always have the attention. So, but we were just proud of all of the fall, all of the fall athletes and all of the fall sports that were able to compete this year. So thank you.
Well, and I'll add that it wasn't just a bunch of nice girls. There were a bunch of girls a bunch of kids who played really hard and aggressively.
Yeah.
And that was exciting to see.
The athleticism was amazing.
So,
And shout out to my,
Congratulations.
my daughter, Sydney.
and I'm getting the stink eye, so I won't say anything embarrassing.
Dude, come on. That's part of the deal.
It's okay. There's a couple more years left to do that. So, again, I'll say the same thing I said to the kids on Zoom. You do not feel obliged to stay. I'm sure you have lots of things to do, but we wanted to make sure that we honored you appropriately.
Thank you.
So,
They all have such great names.
I have to say, they're really good.
Nice read. Great.
Okay, so now I'm going to jump into committee announcements. And if it's okay with you guys, I will start with either Madison or Maggie. If either of you want to jump in, I'll make it easier. Maggie, I see you unmuted.
Hi, yes. So in the upcoming week, we have a very positive thing going on. It's the holiday season, so everyone's very excited, not only for winter break, but for other festivities at school. And so next week, I believe we have the art show run by the art teachers, Mr. Thompson and Ms. Crocky. And we also there have a display for ornaments made by green scholars. And I have some stuff in it, Madison has some stuff in it, and everyone's just really excited. It's always a fun way to celebrate the holiday season. And also, I would like to apologize for having my camera off. I just got into college, so I just needed a moment with my parents. I'm so sorry.
Well, tell us.
Right there.
And bring your parents in. Bring your parents.
My dad, you can come in. Okay. Hi, everybody. Yeah, so I just got into Northeastern University.
Oh, cute.
But
That's exciting.
That's really cool.
Congratulations, Megan.
If you want to go celebrate, you should go celebrate.
Go celebrate.
Yeah, go celebrate.
Yep.
And Madison, that's a tough act to follow, sorry.
That's okay.
You'll have your
Can
moment.
everyone hear me? Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So yes, as Maggie said, and also congratulations, that's amazing. I think that everyone is excited for the holiday season coming up, and basically, I know last meeting there was a large emphasis on pool testing and how people were concerned about that and how there was a lack of involvement, and I just wanted to say that from my perspective, having participated in pool testing over the past week or so since the last meeting, the participation has increased dramatically, and I do think that it was required to play winter sport, but just in general, I know when I come downstairs, the line is actually like stretching towards the nurse's office, and it's really great to see everybody in line getting tested, and it kind of gives everyone a sense of security and makes everyone feel better, like in the school itself.
Thanks for saying that, Madison. I'm glad for that update.
Madison, do you, in the talk that you're having with your peers, and are people talking about this? Is it something that is kind of a pain in the neck? Is it the new normal? How do your peers feel about it?
Of course. So I think that because it's only one day a week, it's not that much of sort of an inconvenience or a pain. I do think recently what has been happening is, unfortunately, we've been called down towards the tail end of X Block, which cuts into lunch. So that's a little difficult to sort of stay in line and get pool tested. But I think as the little, bumps in the road are worked out, it will be called down earlier, because I think just the sheer amount of people has increased. But I've heard nothing but positive things about it. I think it makes people feel secure and safe. I don't think anyone has, from what I've heard, anyone has said that it's a pain.
Wow, that's great.
Wow.
I do have a couple of things to say. First of all, Maggie, did you hear us say that you can sign off this meeting and go celebrate with your parents?
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. I need to go call my grandparents.
Oh my
Go!
God, go! Enjoy yourself.
Have a great night. Madison, that's really good feedback, because Mr. Kohut at Leadership Team today was talking about some of the glitches with the start of this. And not only did it cut into lunches, but kids were missing classes. So he worked with, he's working with Mrs. Mulcahy to get more testers here, to figure out a better time of day. It is, on Mondays, and so they're trying to come up with a plan to maybe make it go smoother and not have kids miss entire lunch periods. And we were talking about maybe, hockey's on one day, basketball's on another day. So there were a lot of ideas tossed around today, just so you know. Your administration did pick up on that fact, and we're trying to work to improve it. But thank you for your feedback. That's great.
Of course, thank you.
Great.
And Mr. Giantis, let's stick with the Zoom and take it away.
Thanks, Amy. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Perfect.
So I just have one thing. This is more on the lighter side, but I also just wanted to recognize the high school cheerleaders for the great season they had. They also got to go to Gillette, and it was a great group of kids as well. Great season, and I just wanted to acknowledge all their efforts this season.
I'll add
Thank
to
you.
that and say that they are invited and will be at a school committee meeting coming up.
Great.
We haven't forgotten them. Mr. Pastor.
Really, just for me, congratulations to, the sports, the arts. It just goes to show what a great environment this is to learn, to do extracurriculars. So it really is a testament to the students, the teaching staff, the specialists who run these programs and these sports. So congratulations to all.
I think to piggyback off that, it's really exciting to see so many kids here and to see them adapting to this new normal, and so many kids doing so well and making the best of it. So it's just nice to see that resiliency. And the only other thing I want to say is thank you to Mrs. Green, who invited myself and a member of the select board to her classroom to talk about local government. And it was really fun to talk to kids about getting involved in government and civics. It was really great. So I appreciate that she reached out to the community to help her with class.
What class was it? Was it Civ?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was great.
Cool. Ms. Marshall?
I don't have any community announcements, but I just wanted to sort of piggyback on something and just make the point that I thought that was interesting, that in talking about the extracurriculars and the sports, the notion that that's one of those things that got people back to normalcy, that in the face of all this change, that's kind of maybe what got kids feeling and acting normal again. So I hadn't thought of it like that, but that's just, you know, another way of looking at it that I think is kind of interesting.
I remember like when school started, how happy kids were just to see other kids. Like, you know, you were in your bubble and you saw maybe a few people or your friends or your family's friends, but just to see other people that you sort of, you know, just saw in classes. I just remember how happy people were just to have those connections again. I mean, the connections are so important, and we sort of forget that with our phones and with social media and everything. But personal connections and being able to experience things like concerts or tryouts or games with teammates is like, just, there's nothing like it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the excitement from, you know, both, you know, Mr. Pierce and through the students who were here for field hockey was just palatable. They're palatably excited, you know, just sitting with their friends. It's great. I agree, 100%.
Yep. It also makes me realize that we should, as much as we can, start reinstitute the For Love of Learning, because it's really, I think, an important piece of the puzzle that's missing from our focus. I mean, it's obviously what we're focused on, but to have that energy and to see some of these really exciting things that are going on on a daily basis.
And we should be highlighting our teachers and our students that are just doing a great job, and this has been really hard last couple of years.
So we can talk about it, Ms. Angelakis, but I wonder if you'd like to send out the invitation, if I should send out the invitation.
I'll send out the invitation tomorrow.
But you know, I know, you know, I've been, I think I talked about it a year or two ago. If you don't follow Stanley Art on Instagram, you should. It's just so fabulous. And I'm continually amazed by the things that this teacher posts that are coming out of elementary school art classes. And, you know, I just have the good fortune of having a window there, and I can imagine that there are lots and lots of things that are just like that that are happening throughout the district. So as much as we can highlight that, that would be great. We haven't been here since before Thanksgiving, and I just want to say that I appreciate all the work that was done by the volunteers, particularly the coaches and our new SRO, Officer Wilson, as it relates to the girls' flag football game, AKA Powder Puff.
It was fun.
I've been very adamant about trying to see that term phased out, and I think that everybody's starting to move in that direction. I appreciate all the work that was done, and especially I think that Ms. Marshall can speak to it, that it really played another sort of major part for these young girls in getting back to normal and you know, feeling competitive and getting their energy going. And it was a really aggressive game, and it was really fun to see. So I want to shout out to the young women who were a part of that and say I look forward to seeing that continue and evolve. And I think that is it for me.
I just, I don't have a written superintendent's report this week because we're celebrating so many of our students and because we do have a great presentation from the tech team. I did just want to update the committee on the HR manager position. I had shared with you either at the last meeting or the meeting before that, that the first round and the first process that we had and we went through, we didn't find the right fit. So we reposted the position. We had 8 applicants. We moved 6 forward to interviews. And I will be doing, we've moved, well, the first committee moved 3 candidates, very strong candidates, forward to the second round, and those interviews will be happening next week. So I'm hopeful that no later than the beginning of the new year, or maybe during the holiday break, we'll have somebody on board. Very helpful.
Good, that's great to hear.
That's the only update I have. Do we want to see if the football team's here yet?
Yeah.
I'll take a look.
It seems awfully quiet out there, so I'm surprised. So people at home, bear with us for a moment.
I think they were scheduled for 7:30, so we're right on schedule.
Oh, good.
Awkward. Awkward silence.
Gotta wrangle.
Not yet.
Not yet, okay. So,
Something else?
let's move.
Do we want to do the votes first, Ms.
Sure.
Mackey? Because I believe they were scheduled for 7:30, so,
Yeah, some of the kids are there, the coaches not.
okay.
Okay. Although the super said that the coach might not.
No, well, the
There
head
will be
coach,
an
the
adult.
coaches will be here.
Okay. So hold on, let me just open up my, I accidentally closed one.
So we have library surplus and surplus technology.
Okay, I'm just opening up my agenda. I closed it accidentally. Apologies. Okay. Okay, so
Do you want to share your screen and bring one of them up, Ms. Mackey?
Sure. Let me open
Thank
the
you.
agenda.
you could see me.
I will say that
About what I was doing, huh?
the surplus for technology is it's residual from the original one that we did. It's all the stuff that no company would pay for. And so we had to research companies that would remove the junk, and they often charge. So we finally found one that said, we'll give you $600 and take it away. And we were like,
okay.
There we go.
let me just bring up that, I'll be right.
So this is related to, we had talked about this a couple meetings ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
So, let me just scroll to the bottom of this. So there are 155 items that have been declared surplus. Is that, am I reading that number right?
Yes.
And I will entertain a motion to declare the tech surplus inventory as presented to us this meeting by Ms. Mackey. I'll entertain a motion to declare it as surplus.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any questions for the technology director or comments?
It's just,
Well, I think she just said they're gonna come and take it away and pay us to do it.
Yes, and we were waiting for the approval, and they said, if you get approved Wednesday night, we can come Thursday. We have a truck in the area, so we're very excited.
Well, let's
Fair
not
enough.
delay. All
Yeah.
in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion is unanimously approved. That is surplus.
it's awesome.
All right, and then moving on to the second one, which is the high school library weeding report as of November 11th. Is that you also, Ms. Mackey?
It's Brandy, part of our team. She's here.
I see her here. Brandy, do you want to unmute yourself? Sorry, Ms. Wilbur.
Yes,
Oh, good, there you are.
I'm here.
Okay, so it looks like we have a bigger list here. It looks like we have a list of 826 items to be declared surplus. I'll entertain a motion to declare this list surplus.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, and then Ms. Wilbur, anything that you want to tell us about it, or, anything you want to tell us about it?
Sure. As you'll see in our presentation too, we're gonna show the improvements we're doing to the space, and one of it was actually going through all of the inventory or the circulation of the library, and I had the English and Social Studies department chairs and their staff come through and verify like what's being used in their curriculum, what's not, what's outdated, what doesn't seem to work anymore. So for the majority of the things that's on this list is anything before 2000 was not something that they would use, and you'd see some of these books are way out of date. If we had multiple copies and it wasn't anything that was in the curriculum anymore, we kept 2 copies, and then if the English department needed some books, we would fill in theirs, and then we surplus the rest. So it's not like, so if you see titles on here that seem like something that we should be reading, we probably have copies. These are just the extra copies that are left.
Gotcha.
All right.
And what's happening to these books?
What we'd like to do is go through Discover Books, and they will come and pick them up. We're working to see if we can do a by weight. They can like pay you a very small fee per weight. Then the organization itself, their first thing is to donate to nonprofits that will need the books, and if anything can't be donated, then they recycle the books.
Awesome. Okay.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The motion passes unanimously. Ms. Wilbur, they are surplus.
There's a couple titles I want to pull out, like some books I remember reading, but I don't.
What, you mean like the outlines of Roman history to the revival of the empire by Charlemagne?
Yeah,
From 19
that's the exact one I was
from
thinking.
I was thinking of
From 1901?
It's just fun to read the title.
I think what is important to note is that there were so many books that moved up from the old high school to this school when it opened that we were already in and it's given us a lot of information for the new school. But there's so many books, and they were just, we looked, and some of them had never been checked out ever since the day that they were gotten. So
There's
Brandy and her team spent probably over 1,000 hours going through this.
More time going through them than probably ever in
Right.
ordering
Yes.
them
Right.
and using them.
Right.
It's kind of funny how many foreign language books there are
We got
here.
a lot of French out there,
Right?
like
And Spanish,
1950
yeah.
or so.
Well,
That's interesting.
thank you for doing that task
Yeah.
and setting us up for the fabulous space that is. So should we move then into, Ms. Mackey, do you want to move into your presentation?
I can, and it sounds kind of noisy out there. Do you want to?
wanna go
Maybe
check?
there we
Yeah.
go.
Wait,
I'll go
okay, sorry. Appreciate it, thank you.
Woo!
Come on in, guys.
Spread out.
Those letters. So fun.
So do we have,
Taking up the rear.
yeah. Gentleman with his tie. They're all fighting for who to be in the back. All right, do we have any coaches here with us?
Said Coach Sereno's not feeling well.
So I know Coach Sereno isn't feeling well, but is there any coach here with you guys tonight, or? All right,
Who's-
well, so who
wait, are the captains
So who
here?
are the captains? If you
Captains
guys
here?
could stand up. Come on, stand up and come on down to the front. I am feeling old, as these are the boys that I've known since kindergarten.
There you go, yep.
So
Right there is perfect.
So I
So you can be on
recognize Joey Mignoni, and I recognize
Dylan Dubiel,
Dubiel, and
Clark School, yeah.
Cole Hammernick. Okay, and you're missing one, right? Cam O'Brien. Okay, so since Coach Serino is out, I know you guys will do him proud. If you guys could just tell us about how fabulous this team has been and why we've invited you here tonight, and then if you could go through and introduce your teammates, that would be great.
Yeah, this team is a great group of kids. We showed up to practice since August, and we worked hard. Everybody was focused, and we had a lot of fun during the season. Yeah, it was a great season. Won a lot of games, lost one at Marblehead, but we learned a lot from that game, which probably helped us win that Super Bowl.
Don't you think?
I do.
That was key, right?
Yeah. It's a great honor to be here, too. We're very thankful to be here. And, yeah, great group of guys. Great group of guys.
Yeah, it's a fine group of gentlemen right here. You know, no other team I'd rather be a part of. Hardworking men, you know. It all started in the off season, and even 2 years ago when we won our first Super Bowl in a while. You know, it was nice, and some of the players here have rings, but we wanted our own. We wanted to make our own mark, and we wanted to do our own thing and win with our own team. So everyone stayed focused, like Doob said, worked hard through the off season, dedicated. Everyone put in all the hours, and we got the outcome we wanted. Fell short of Marblehead, but like you said, it was just juice, fuel to the fire. So it was great.
I just want to thank the Look Squad for coming out every practice. Even though you didn't play many games, you came to every practice. You got us the look we needed to get ready for those big games, and you really helped us out there. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, you can, however you guys want to do it, but it might be, yeah, if you guys could just, I know sometimes it's a lot of pressure to name people off the cuff.
Yeah.
So,
Somebody wants to
you know what, why don't you guys pass the mic? I think it'll be easier.
I know all my boys. We'll start off with Tommy Pomeyer.
Tell us your name, your what grade you're in, and your position.
All right.
It's on.
It's on.
My name is Tommy Pomeyer. I'm in 9th grade, and I play right tackle. And I just want to say we did a great job all season, and I'll pass this to Nate.
I'm Nate Mays. I'm in 9th grade, and I play right tackle.
Excellent.
I'm Jay Domilovich. I'm in 9th grade, and I play wide receiver.
I'm Henry Beitler. I'm in 9th grade, and I play running back.
I'm Joseph Moreno. I'm in 9th grade, and I play wide receiver. I'm Sam Obala. I'm in 9th grade, and I play wide receiver.
Do you guys play defense?
I play safety, too.
You just got a bunch of offensive players on the team.
I'm Yerling Herrera, and I'm a senior. I play D-line.
I'm Jack Hazel. I'm a sophomore, and I play linebacker and receiver.
I'm Ethan G., and I'm a junior, and I played on the defensive line.
I'm Braden Bozarchian, and I'm a junior, and I play offensive and defensive line.
I'm Nick Pacheco. I play wide receiver and linebacker, class of 2023.
I'm Anthony Nichols, running back, linebacker, sophomore.
Good tie you have on too, by the way.
I was going to say, thank you for dressing. That
He's
looks
very
really
dapper.
I'm Holden Riddell. I play linebacker and running back, and I'm a sophomore.
I'm Will McLaughlin. I play receiver and linebacker, and I'm a sophomore.
I'm Sebastian De La Rocha, and I'm a sophomore, and I'm a kicker.
I'm Timmy Sheehan. I'm a freshman. I play O-line and D-line.
I'm Sam Brodsky. I'm a freshman. I play O-line, D-line.
I'm Liam Keeney. I'm a freshman, and I play receiver and defensive end.
My name is Vincenzo Fazzolari, and I play O-line and D-line.
AKA Chen's Mix.
I'm Jason Cottaspati, and I play receiver and corner. And I'm a junior.
I'm Harry James Riddell, senior, play safety and wide receiver.
I'm Aiden. I'm a junior, and I kick and I play O-line and D-line.
I'm Frank. I play O-line, D-line. I'm a senior.
I'm Ja, class of 2023. I'm a receiver and a safety.
I'm Kyle Spear. I'm a senior, and I play receiver and corner.
I'm Chris Ferragamo, receiver and defensive back, and I'm a junior.
Out of curiosity, how many of you guys were on the other Super Bowl team, like have 2 rings? So everyone who's a senior?
Juniors and seniors.
That's
I was
pretty
gonna
awesome.
say,
A lot of freshmen here, though. That's great.
The future.
How many seniors are graduating?
Okay, hold on a second. I just want to hear this. I just want to hear.
A lot?
Okay. Right.
There's more. Like 16, 17 maybe?
Talking about seniors, like maybe 15, 16.
Well, good leadership, because
Yeah.
you certainly had a lot of young guys on your team, and it's pretty cool to see such a big spread in ages and that you led them to victory.
Thank you.
So I have one question. Mr. Ferragamo has that leg of yours? Yeah.
Yep. I will say that in 2019, it was a Saturday afternoon, so it was nice to go and stand on the field at Gillette and watch you guys play. It was just as fun to listen to the commentators and watch it on my phone this year. It was freezing, I imagine, but the commentators were really, really hysterical, and listening to them cheer you guys on. And also on Twitter, seeing the Patriots player cheer for you guys was fantastic.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Which one of you guys was that?
He's not here.
Not here?
Yeah.
That was pretty great. That was pretty great.
That was pretty awesome.
Kind of a tough call on the hurdle call, too.
Oh, that was hysterical.
That's a new rule.
Right, that went on for a couple of days on the radio, so that was great. Hey, congratulations, guys. It was really great.
I just want to say to Joey, to Harry, to Tyler, I know that there's somebody I'm missing, that I've known you since the adjective parade back in kindergarten.
Oh my God.
And it's so nice to see, like, yeah, it's so nice to see those little boys who were in the adjectives parade, these grown men. This is exciting, and that's right.
But you not only made us proud athletically, you made us proud as young men, and your character. And that means the world, I know, to Coach Serino, and it means the world to the district, and we're all really, really proud of you guys. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well done, guys.
All right.
Finish out the year strong.
Yep.
Thank you guys for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you guys don't have to stick around.
Thank you. Awesome ones that would show up to the field. It was always the football players.
Oh, yeah.
It always
They were
cracks
the ones
me
that
up
would show
every
up.
time. That was great.
It really is nice to see them grow
Yeah.
up, and their coach wasn't here, and they did them proud.
They did it. They did a great
They
job.
did a fabulous job.
Literally, their coach wasn't here.
Joey went up and grabbed the mic at the end, like, what these fine gentlemen.
Yeah.
That was great. That was fantastic.
No, it's just nice to see. It's nice that they grow up well.
Yeah, I'm a little wistful.
All
All right. So,
Our Library Innovation Technology Center Phase 1 and 2 presentation.
all right, Ms. Mackey, take it away.
All right. Joe, how's my mic? All good? Great. All right, so we also have Brandy Wilbur, Miss Wilbur at home, presenting with me. Let me just hide these floating meeting controls so I can see. So actually, the first slide, the first thing I want to talk about a little is our new logo.
love it.
Introduce you to our Library Innovation and Technology Center. So this is a 3-phase project to turn a very underutilized space that had turned into a storage place without any students. Some of the students that we talked to during this project said, I've never been in here. I'm a junior or I'm a senior. And so that was really sad. And every day it's packed with life and there's lots of vibrancy and lots of students in there, which is everything that we wanted. So with me tonight is Miss Wilbur. She's the Library and Technology Specialist at SHS. And I'm LaTanya Mackey-Knowles, the Director of Technology for Swampscott Public Schools. And so just to introduce a little bit, not here with us tonight, but a little shadow member of this presentation is Kerry. She designed our new logo and did a lot of some of the artwork in the presentation and such. And also thank you to all the students that are going to be in the photos, because we took so many photos since we've been doing this, and we're constantly like, can we take pictures of you wherever the students are? So I can see myself in 2 squares, Joe. Thank you. So we'll just talk a little bit about phase 1, what it looked like, and then Brandy's going to take it away and talk about all our plans for phase 2, which is what we're in right now. So one of the things was, when we looked at this space for phase 1, we thought, what could this library be? There's so many times that I've been in a meeting and someone's come up and been like, this is such a great space. Why are we using it this way? Suzanne, you've been definitely one of those people who've come through the library, and we've looked around through all the meetings and said, what we could do so much better. So that was the first phase of this, was really looking at what we had and the planning, the hiring, handling all of that surplus, and then looking at capital and really designing out what was this going to look like. So we knew that we needed a place for a one-to-one program, the technology students and the tech ninjas, and we knew that we had to remove lots of things. We had so much stuff to do, all the inventory. Like the dark side of technology in the library is when you get all this money to purchase things and you're planning out years ahead, you have to have that back end. What do we do with all the equipment that's going out? So that was something that hadn't been dealt with, and we went through every single school and combed through deep, dark closets to find lots of surplus. So we call this phase like our R phase, research, repurpose, and remove. So now just looking at a few photos that were kind of, let's see, the before. As you can see, there isn't really a clear entrance, very cluttery. And we love this photo because it just shows like what was happening at the time in the library space.
It's depressing.
That's sort of like cringy. Makes you feel very uncomfortable when you look at the clutter in here. These were our outdated desktops that hadn't been really used, so there was lots of potential in this space. And then this was what I called the Mischief Corner, because there was no clear line of sight, and there's a back door there. And so you just never knew if anyone was back there. It also would be scary if you're working alone in the space, because there's doors there to the back teacher's room and another hallway in the back corner. So we did try to repurpose some old furniture and move it around, and it just still looks kind of desolate, but we did the best we could. And I have to credit Brandy with this, because she really walked into this from being the STEM specialist and teaching green scholars and building a vibrant program down there, and just was like, I can do this. So Brandy, you want to take away phase 2, the exciting phase?
Sure. The phase 2 of the project, we were able to kind of put in place some of the plans that we had done from phase 1, and wanted to, our goal was to create flexible learning commons in the library, in hopes that, you know, the students will come back and use them, right? So part of it was making sure everything was flexible so that we could move things around and meet the students where their needs were. We were also able to hire the technology assistant position, which has been amazing to really support the one-to-one program, because the high school library still supports the whole district's one-to-one program, from repairs to billing to storage, inventory, accepting all the machines, setting them all up, getting them back out. So there's a lot of work that goes into that. And I wouldn't be able to then do the library position without having the help, and this person supports Latanya and myself getting all these devices out. So we work side by side, and it's been a huge, huge help. And so we've done the furniture, we've done staffing, and the other interesting part of the staffing is we use the same model as the Tech Ninja program, and we started a library assistant program. So I currently have 6 students enrolled this quarter. It's just rolled out for quarter 2. And they're in there helping us reshelf, reorganize, doing some special projects for us in the library. So the Tech Ninjas are fixing the computers, and the library assistants, I'm going to start having them develop displays. I'd like to connect to the community. Maybe we can have community service component. So each quarter I'm hoping to have the assistants come up with some sort of display project going on in the library. So we're kind of excited about that. We're just starting that now. And I'm trying to roll out all of that. And on top of that, we've also started adding a lot of plants. So it looks great. The kids are excited about being in there. And then our goal is to kind of move into more educational, like either hydroponic plant systems or something that we're going to use as the innovation side as we move forward.
So you can see from this photo, it's the same angle as the original one, the little art display in the corner. That was one of the art teachers is starting to build those displays in the library, Ryan. He's doing an exceptional job with that. And you could see right from the get-go the clarity, being able, like the line of sight through the library, and it's just more inviting and open and flexible. So before, this was covered in bookshelves with the outdated titles, and now we have this furniture. Ms. Wilbur did such a great job picking out all the furniture and trying it out and working with vendors as well. To make use of the plugs on the ground, there's lots of plugs under these tables so that the one-to-one program can flourish with students being able to charge. And as you see all the plants that are coming in, one of the teachers' mom works for the garden club, and she showed up one day with tons of plants to help us with the space. And just the light, this looks like it's Photoshop, but now that all of the shades are up and the students are in there, it's just such a beautiful space to work. And they're so happy. And as you can see from photo to photo, this back corner changes because it's flexible, so the students move the furniture around all the time to make it what they need. And then this middle area had a couple tables before, but it's now more flexible and spacious. There's these collaboration stations. Brandy, if you want to talk about those for a second.
Sure. Because of the Chromebooks and the one-to-one program, we were able to set up these collaboration stations. So it's basically a monitor with a Chromecast, so the kids can live screencast or mirror their computer to the screen. So if you have multiple students around, they can each take turns sharing what's going on. So it makes a huge difference when they're collaborating. I hear kids come in there to study together and do their flashcards or review slides together. When they're working on group presentations, it's nice to be able to have one up that's bigger that they can all look at together. So we have 4 of those stations that we're testing out right now.
And then in phase 1, we had ordered a Promethean from some capital money. It's this board in the back on a stand. It's 86 inches, and it's become a classroom in the round back there. So that board can move as well, and you'll see how this little space starts to change. And teachers are signing up for that. And students are working right there, moving the furniture around so that it looks different. You can also see up the top of the bookshelves our History of Technology exhibit that the Tech Ninjas are working on with Miss Wilbur. So these are all the student groups that, and all the groups that, Brandy, you're working with right now, if you want to talk about that.
Sure. We have on the library website, we have the ability for teachers to book the space for their classes. And the way that we have it set up now is we have the ability to have 3 full classes in at one time, which is awesome. So pretty much never have to say the library's booked, right? People can always bring, there's usually space all the time for kids to come in. All the directed studies and X block and even sometimes lunch, kids have projects to work on. They're coming in. We have a electronic sign-in practice in place that they have to come in and scan a QR code. So the administrators, the front desk monitors, people know where the students are. We've hosted several professional development meetings, teacher meetings. The student clubs are starting to ask if they can come in during X blocks. We have 2 different groups that have been meeting. The other nice thing we've been able to do is with the Discovery Point program, the new 18 to 22-year-old program that Emily Borden is leading the charge. We're able to have the students work in the library as one of their jobs. And especially because of COVID and they can't get out, and last year with so many delays, they're able to really come in and work, and we have a nice process that they have to fill out, like how long can they stay on task, what can they do. It's a great way for them to get experience in the building in a different role before they can go out, to gain the stamina and skills to do some work before they go out for real internships. So we've had students doing library stuff and technology work with us, and that's been awesome. And we also, MECO is now doing the tutorials after school, so that's another great use of the space as well.
And so more students in the round area, and as this board shows a code on it, so any student can also cast to this giant screen. And so in professional development, it's been arranged differently. This was an earlier photo before the giant bookshelves were moved out. But that's Craig Harris leading a PD in the back with that board. So we did see so much use. And then Brandy has developed this one.
Yeah, on Fridays, the kids love to use the board. If we're not booked academically for the space, we let them, the last half of a class, I'll let them screencast their games up to the screen. And there's always like racing games and all sorts of stuff. So the kids like it. It's fun. It's a way to relax and to use the technology in a different way. So they're engaged. It's fun to see.
And you'll see them doing work, and they'll just look up and be like, "Is it time, Miss Wilbur?"
They ask me all that. They know better now. Don't ask her before it's a half hour. She'll get mad at us.
Miss Wilbur's running a tight ship up there, but it's still so inviting and flexible. So now we're looking ahead. So we've staffed the technology program. We're getting the one-to-one organized, the whole district, the flow of things. And the last piece of the library, also we've been getting so much feedback from the students about the furniture and what else to do. But the last piece is that library classroom. And we're redesigning that to become an innovation center, which is commonly called an iLab. And that's more of a maker space, but as a more adult way. Like students would be able to go in there to do lots of projects, but also during that time while the students are in there, there'll be things that are low tech as well, not just like 3D printers or something that would be in a different program, but thinking of large whiteboard walls and green screens and podcasting booths and just creative projects that they can get their hands on to do what they need to show their learning in different ways. Or a lot of them working on portfolios for college and such, and they need space. So we're really excited about this, and so we have requested capital to help us with this last phase of the library. And I'm going to show you some of the concepts here. Do you want to add anything to that, Brandy?
No, we're really excited the students have really given us a lot of feedback, which is awesome because, again, we're trying to build something that they want to use. And one of the things that we keep hearing is we do offer some great classes at Swampscott High School, but they can't always get into them based on their schedule. So they might love the media class, but it might conflict with their AP something and they can't get in, but they are really interested in film or, TV media, and maybe we can start mirroring some of those things up in the library and giving the kids more opportunities. So we're working with Joe Dulett and talking with the students and really invite the community to give us some feedback on interesting, innovative ways we can use this space.
So this is the space right now. One of the struggles of technology is always storage, but we're working with some unused space in the high school second floor right outside where that Mischief Corner was, that hallway. There was an old copy room, and we've removed the copy machine from that small space, and that plus another nook that's being unused, we can outfit with some shelving for some extra flow in an organized manner to clear this out. So currently it's quite cluttered, but these are some concepts. So you'd look out into the library through this glass here, and there could be some tables. What we love are these whiteboard walls that are super flexible and movable. And because we're going to keep some shelving in that space that will house some technology equipment, having the whiteboards in front of them will make the aesthetics of the place, but you can pull them out. You can also roll them out into the library. So these are whiteboard dividers, but it's really neat. You can get smaller ones, and they fold up, or they have storage on one side, and they're on wheels, and they move around. And the students were really excited by this. We love the idea of like a center table with the stuff around the perimeter, so there's a big space. Like you think about when you're about to wrap a present or do a project at home, and you're like, where do I put this? There's no space with just big open tables, and the library is that place. Unless you go to the cafeteria, everything's in a classroom. So this allows students for any type of project where they need materials and just room to breathe and let their brain and creativity open up. So this is another idea. So we're really excited. We're still working on it this year of all these different concepts and what it's going to be. And our most important focus, of course, is what do the students want, what will they use, and then the last thing is what can we sustain? Brandy, do you want to mention anything else before we go to Q&A?
No, I think we covered it. Thanks.
So I don't have a question. I have some comments. First of all, wow. I think what's really exciting about this for me is, especially as we are embarking on the elementary school project, the idea that this is still our new building and it's not new anymore. And already there is a very active way of thinking about reuse of space to change as the kids are changing, I think is really exciting. The idea that you're not just making do or slapping a new sign on the door and just trying to make it work, but really reinventing it in a way that is also at the same time a learning opportunity for the kids. I just like this is what education is all about. And as I looked at those photos that you took, I couldn't help but think like this looks like a college catalog
I was going to say
like a private school
thing.
catalog. This
Yep.
is like how I think the town, I would love to be able to find a way to share this with the town. I think that this is something for everybody to be really proud of about how we're approaching change. And it's manifesting itself not just in the classrooms, but in the physical spaces themselves. And I think that's really exciting. So I give lots of kudos to the both of you for reimagining and making an irrelevant space relevant. So it seems crazy that in the new school, in the new building, that there's already irrelevant spaces. So the fact that you've grabbed that and changed that so actively is really cool. So if anybody wants to.
And I was going to say the same thing. I mean, the first thing I thought of was this reminds me of the first 2 floors of a college library. you know, with especially the concept of the whiteboards, you know, the movable whiteboards and having a group session going on, and things on the other side. I think you guys have done a great job. I think the plan is fantastic, and I don't know if there's anything that we can do, please continue to let us know. It's great. Great job, honestly. It's really great.
Ditto. I stopped in today. It looked awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing. Did you already applied for capital? Did you already put something in?
Yep, you know, Superintendent Angelakis supports technology, and she's very tech savvy, so she comes into the space and looks at the students using it and really gets our vision. So we're very fortunate for that, and Principal Kohut is just so excited that something's being done with this space and that it's not something that he has yet to think about, like that it's part of the, you know, technology umbrella, really, all the librarians, because they've suddenly become one-to-one digital learning specialists overnight. We're all a huge team now working together, so, and meeting regularly, and this space is a great place for us to think ahead, and the elementary librarians, one who used to be a high school librarian, are really psyched to see it and to sit in the furniture and think about what the new school will look like for them, because some of this furniture is very similar to what the design team was recommending. So that's really fun that we're trying it out.
I love the high top tables.
Yeah,
just,
that's going to appeal to.
Yeah.
They're so nice for the kids to sit in and everything.
So we were in a meeting earlier today, and what came up was some of the changes that are happening at the elementary school level and how the schedule, you know, everything being very student-centered. And I think it's really easy to say, oh, you know, it's student-centered, it's student-centered, it's what's right. But it is what you and Ms. Raymond were talking about. We're so very, it really demonstrated kind of a different way of how, as adults, we think about school and the things that were just sort of the rules the way they were just because that's the way school is. And I think that this mirrors that very beautifully in terms of like the constant focus on what is this doing for our kids? What are our kids looking for? You know, how do we keep them engaged, especially after this crazy 20 months? I can't say enough of how impressive it is. I'd just be curious, and it probably is not something you have off the top of your head, but at the end of it, what the budget was, and I'd be curious to know how that shakes out. And I know
The budget for capital for this project?
Just the whole progress, the whole, like what?
25,000 this year.
Yeah.
And then we asked, I think, for 30 next year. And the first year, we didn't really ask for funding, except for we added Kerry, our digital learning specialist, who lives in the library. And we added Michelle Schultz, that was not part of that, but they're part of the team. So that's been pretty incredible. So I'd say other than capital supporting, superintendent's always supporting the positions and sees the need, that we went from zero to hero overnight, and suddenly we manage like 40,000 pieces of equipment on any given day.
Wow.
I didn't know if Mr. Giantis had anything to say before I speak. If he had any comments?
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you. No, just to echo what was said, it's so great to see the space repurposed. I know for quite a long time it was kind of a big question mark what's going to happen there, and it's really glad to see that it's been repurposed like it has. So great job.
Yeah, it's kind of fun, like the Harbor and Swift programs, the repurposing those shops, that program. I mean, someday the cafe. Under the stairs someday.
No, I know. I just want to say that Mrs. Wilbur and Miss Mackey are phenomenal, and their leadership and vision on this is amazing. When I first walked in and saw those high top tables, it brought me back to when we visited some new elementary schools, and they were incorporated into spaces throughout the building. I actually have goosebumps right now talking about it, that we did take a very dead space and brought it to life again for our kids. But a big shout out to Miss Wilbur, who's been in various roles in this district, as has Miss Mackey, and bringing on Mrs. O'Donnell was fantastic. But a real kudos to both of you for the work that you've done, the vision you have, and how it's really impacting our students very positively. So thank you for all your work.
And just a quick shout out.
Sitting here, sorry, sitting around this table, I think it was probably 3 years ago when the librarian was let go, or, you know, that position was let go. You know, hearing some of the comments from parents about, you know, dead space and you know, makes you, and now with what you've done, it makes you realize that it wasn't about any particular bodies in there, but about how the whole space is used, and you've completely reinvented it, so kudos.
For very short dollars.
Right.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Relatively, yeah.
I was expecting you to say much more than that. And it's
No.
short dollars, which is just, I mean, all the use is gonna come from that. It's just great. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I mean, thank you, of course, to Brandy, who looked at me one day from her science room when I was like, so, you want to come upstairs and be part of a team in a project in one-to-one, and I don't know what's going to happen, and Dennis is like, I think you do. It's just, so she said yes and looked in there, and then suddenly she was running one-to-one in Tech Ninjas and took on so much, and COVID hit, and we're sitting in that space looking around. And she's like, I got my work cut out. And she just like put on some garden-y type gloves and started doing things. But getting Michelle on the team as well, Michelle Schultz, who had retired from Swampscott Public Schools, she came out of retirement to be a technology assistant, and she's been doing all the billing for like Chromebook repairs. And we were getting nothing, like dead silence out there, and people are paying the bills, and she's balancing all of that and doing so much work, and she's supporting, you know, the Chromebook pickups and supporting Miss Wilbur and all the students. And that was huge because we didn't realize how much more we could do when we had the right staff. So each day, it feels like a reason to celebrate. The library's alive again. The plants make everyone happy, and the students keep coming in and saying, hey, what do you think about this? So it's open for business and for evening meetings as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's great.
Really great.
Thank you, well done.
Thank you.
Yay. Like so much good news today.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Superintendent, I think that clears us out of your section.
It does clear my section.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. So up to the chair. We did have a tri-chair meeting. It was our first meeting with the new head of the select board. And we spent most of our time talking about the new interest-based bargaining process that we are embarking on with the teachers. I'm being more specific about that than not, just because while we've talked about it, certainly, especially within our training and our interest-based bargaining, the public hasn't heard about it. You know, we talked a lot about why we feel good about this working, and you know, I chalked that up to the relationship that the superintendent has with her staff, and particularly with the head of the union. We talked about it, you know, briefly in our executive session, but I don't think that we would be moving forward like we are without that relationship. So I want to say thank you to you, Superintendent, for being the steward there. Okay. Let me see. Bear with me a second. Okay, so now we are going to talk about probably the most uncomfortable thing that we do in your career we try an annual basis. I'm looking, and we have a very light audience, which I'm not surprised about, but at the same time disappointed. Just open up my notes. Bear with me a second. Team. So, not that we have a whole league of people listening, but I think it's important to acknowledge, as I was talking with Lynn Item today, it made me realize that there was probably some conversation that we need to do publicly in terms of explaining what the process is, because it has been so peculiar over the last 20 months. So normally, we have an annual review with our superintendent. We sit down at the beginning of the year, we set up some goals, and we identify different targets, how we're going to evaluate what we've decided is important to the district. That's a collaborative effort. We sit down 6 months, hopefully 6 months later to identify if we're on track or not, make any course adjustments that might happen, and then follow up with an end-of-year summary. 2 years ago, we decided that with your tenure and experience, that those annual reviews didn't make a lot of sense, because the kinds of things that we were looking to accomplish were not things that you get done in a couple of months, but big longer-term goals. Everybody please jump in if I'm missing or not explaining this well. And so that set us off on the idea that rather than an annual review, it would be a biannual review with a midterm review, which in place. And then COVID struck. So that 1 year mark, we didn't have that middle review. And then we did not have the goal setting because we were just trying to keep the ship afloat. And I think, as Ms. Mackey talked about, the kinds of things that you did accomplish were things like becoming a one-to-one district overnight, and setting up the district and all of our kids who are now learning from home with technology in a way that we had been talking about for the last 10 years of, how do we move this district forward. And I think fortunately you had already assembled the team to make that work. I think of where we could have been 7, 8 years ago, that we would not have been able to pivot the way that we did. So this is sort of a long way of getting to the fact that while we have not been on a traditional path with our over the last 20 months, that this is not unique to Swampscott, that we have been working with the Massachusetts Association of School Committees, and that districts around the Commonwealth have also been going through this and are also now just starting to come out and get back on track. But at the same time, as a professional, we need to acknowledge the work that you have done. So it's a little bit different this year. So I'm going to jump right in and say that as a committee, we were unanimous in our discussion about your skills, and in our agreement that Superintendent, you are skilled, experienced, you're a thoughtful leader. You are somebody whose peers look to you for advice and certainly have come to you a lot over the last 18 to 20 months, if not longer. And we recognize that. And so while not providing you with a rubric, as we've done in the past, that our intention is to do a few things. I just want to make sure I get this all right. And the first is that we would like to extend your contract through June of 2025. We see this as a particular date because this carries us through the completion and then some of the elementary school. And we see this as being critical. We are giving you a 2% pay raise, which will bring your compensation to $190,161. And as well as the $7,000 in travel costs. So all of that, let's see, sort of with the bigger piece of the puzzle, obviously that's the benefits that come out of this, but the fact that I want to acknowledge that the school committee, in combination with you, really needs to sort of move forward and sit down and talk about, what comes next. And roll out especially our second 5-year plan, something that's obviously taken a slowdown in the last 18 months. We recognize and want to be very thorough in how the elementary school project not only moves forward in the building, but in how the kids who are in elementary school now transition and continue to thrive. And then sort of importantly, as we start to embark on our next round of contract bargaining, that we see you in your position as steward here with the interest-based bargaining as being very critical to making changes to the district that are not about the little small things that you negotiate with your team every day, but about sort of broader picture and how we move our district forward. So very long-winded, but I want to open the opportunity to the rest of my team to speak and say what's on your mind. Anybody want to speak up, or?
I'll go. I agree with everything you've said, and I'm happy that we didn't have to evaluate you on the standard rubrics that we've been using because there's been nothing like the last 2 years, and it seems so false to try to put a square peg in a round hole.
Mhm.
So it was really nice to be able to look at your performance holistically and understand how difficult this past couple of years has been, and how much you've worked, and how hard you've worked, and how successfully you've worked, and the district is doing very well. So it's been great. And on another note, as a school building committee person, I recognize how much time that you're also devoting to this, and how hard, working towards the vote was, and all the documents you had to produce for the MSBA, and now continuing to do all these design meetings. This is like, on top of your job, your day job, this is like your second day job. And so I recognize, like, if there was more money and there was more whatever, you'd know you got it. Like, it feels, it's not empty. Like,
Thank you.
Like, I really,
Making me emotional.
I really do appreciate, it's just, it's been hard for everyone, and it's just, I don't know, you're holding it together very well.
Thank you.
So thank you, and this is well-deserved, and I hope, you can stay past 2025, but just open this building with me.
For me, excuse me, I will dovetail that. I mean, it was really easy during our conversations, the bunch of us here. From my perspective, I've known you a very long time. All three of my children, who one, college juniors, one is 25, and to me, coming back this time, it was very interesting. When I decided to run, we had a very great conversation. I think the district is so lucky comparatively to a lot of what's going on in the Commonwealth and in other states that you just read about. And I'm excited for you personally to be comfortable here for the next several years, or as long as you want to stay. And just from a personal perspective, I'm just so happy for you.
Thank you.
So congratulations, and I know we've had a lot, so I'm really happy for you. I think for the district itself, that's the best news, is that there's a leader of the district who is child-centric, and I think that's so important, and especially with some of the mental health challenges that are coming out with COVID and even before COVID, and just the change of really what a school is and what a district is. And as the leader of that, I think you've been exemplary. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'll just say, there's no way we could have used that old rubric to talk about the last couple of years. And, in normal times even, you sit and you make goals and you're looking out a year or two, and you still don't know what's going to happen in those years or two, and what might change it. But you're fairly sure that you might be able to meet these things and we can check in. But I think, you know, the true measure of a leader is what do you do when all of that is just falls into a black hole, right? And how do you react and how do you lead and how do you adapt and change when what happened? And you had to throw that out. And so, you know, we had to throw that out and then look at what you did, and it's, frankly, was amazing, and it did exceed expectations because, you know, I mean, yes, everybody had to start from scratch and everybody had to pivot, but I think we were ahead in a lot of ways. And continually, as hard as it was, I still think we were well positioned because of the things that you had put in place and the things that had been thought of and, you know, the things that you were able to accomplish. So, you know, you handed us that document and you're like, oh yeah, oh my God, remember? Yep. And it was just like page after page of what had to happen and the way we had to get the one-to-one and all the meetings.
Self-evaluation.
Yes, the self-evaluation that she gave us, and it, you know, it reminds you of everything that happened over those 2 years. And there's just no denying how hard and how much work that was, and how, even though it didn't feel successful, it was. Do you know what I mean? Because we were able to get the kids back into the buildings, and we were able to get that, you know, all those devices out, and we made the remote work, and we made the hybrid work, and it was hard, but you did it. And that was, I mean, it was your team for sure, but it was you at the helm, so.
Thank you.
I am also, offering you another 3 years was like a no-brainer, and we are lucky if you do stay those 3 years and more, for sure.
John?
Yeah, thanks, Amy. And I agree with everything that's been said so far. And I think, you know, our discussions reflected that, you know, Pam's done an exemplary job. And, you know, I guess just my view has been I kind of came in just as everything with COVID blew up, and I got to see right from the get-go, you know, and I've known Pam for a long time, but, you know, I think the district has been really fortunate to have, you know, such a steady, experienced, strong leader at the helm during such a challenging time. So I want to acknowledge that as well. And, you know, I think Karen touched on it a bit, but, you know, I think of just even one example, like, you know, Swampscott's MCAS scores kind of being a little bit ahead of the peer comparisons this year. And I think a lot of that does come back to the leadership that was provided. You know, obviously it's not one person, but the leadership that was provided that, you know, allowed the kids to get back in and hit the ground running as much as possible. So again, well-deserved. And again, thank you for, you know, everything you've done.
Thank you. I don't want to get emotional, but I'm going to. Thank you all. I started teaching in this district in 1990, and I loved teaching for 14 years here. And it was always my fantasy, I guess, or dream to retire from this district and be here throughout my career. And it looks like I will attain that dream. In 2025. I'm very grateful for your kind words. I'm grateful for your appreciation. I'm grateful for your trust in me, and I do have to shout out to my team. I really have a very solid team around me, and I remember going through the pandemic and all of the superintendents were trying to figure out our way and trying to ask each other what they were doing that was successful and should they do the same thing. And I remember being very uncomfortable with no district was doing anything the same because we were all faced with different facilities, different challenges. And without my team, central office and principals, I had the confidence in them that we would come to the right decisions for our district. And so it was a little bit isolating in that you couldn't really, you could share with your colleagues across the state, but nobody faced the building challenges at the elementary schools that we faced, the ventilation reports, and having the confidence of my team around me that recommendations and different perspectives really helped direct where we were going, that I do have to shout out and thank my team. But this means the world to me. I will end my career where I began it. And thank you very, very much.
Yay.
I
More
just-
good news.
I want to touch just a little bit on what you said about the idea of feeling successful. And I think that I want to say this not only to you, but to all of our educators who I know are really struggling and feeling like they're wondering why they went into teaching. That this is, a very difficult place to be. And I know that a lot of our teachers right now are fried and have a particular PTSD over the last 2 years that is hard to really understand, I think, unless you're close with an educator. So to Karen's point about, I'm not sure any of us feel successful at anything that has happened over and during COVID. It has just felt like a giant disaster. However, I think that I hope you and your team and your educators know that it was successful, that we are better off, I think, than we thought we'd be. Sometimes maybe not in places where we didn't expect, but that you have pivoted to make sure that all of your students are taken care of, and the fact that you have a team to help you do this. I'm looking, at Dr. Bacon online, and I know, Ms. Mackey, who was here before, and your assistant superintendent, that they're here and they're working for you as much as, if not more so, than working for Swampscott. That you are a leader who has inspired the best of your team, and we're very lucky in that way. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank
So I want to be official about this and take a vote to approve so that I can sign your paperwork retroactive to July 1st. And that is to offer you a 2% raise, a contract extension until June of 2025, and the bump up in the travel costs to bring it to $7,000 in travel costs. And so I will take a motion to approve the details.
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
A second.
And then all in favor, say aye. Hand raised.
Aye.
Mr. Jantis, since you're remote, I'm just going to ask you for your verbal vote.
Yes, that was an aye as well.
Oh, good, thank you. So that is unanimous?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And then I'm going to move into, do we have any committee updates? I have you on here, Suzanne, for the school building committee.
Hold on, I just thought of something. School building committee is working on surveying the site. So some people that live in and around the Stanley neighborhood and some Stanley families have gotten a message about what's going on in the site, and I'd like to just let the rest of the town know what's been happening at that site, and hopefully we'll be able to give updates to everyone. I'm just going to pull it up right now so I can read it. Latanya just put it in this new folder for me. Okay. Sorry, thanks for bearing with me here.
Okay.
Okay, so what's happening on the site? So we have to get ready to build the building, obviously. And so what's happening is some engineering firm has been digging test pits. So it looks like the DPW is helping, and it looks like a backhoe digging some holes in different areas around the site. It's been happening during the days. They've been really trying to work around drop-off and pickup times and school schedules to be less disruptive. But there really are holes all around the sites, including the pavement, and they're making holes. They're taking soil samples out, and then they're filling the holes in. It's just, to see. So It's to see, to understand the quality and the permeability of the soil and inform how the storm water drain systems are going to work and how the foundation's going to be designed. So it's an important part of the project. So that's happening, and that has been happening the past week, and it might be done this week. And then also ground penetrating radar is going to happen, and geotech drilling. They sound like big important things, but really it's basically to map the ledge that we all know there's ledge there. So this is to map the ledge and look at the soil characteristics to inform how the ledge is going to be removed, what kind of machinery they're going to need to remove it, how much there is, what kind of ledge there is. And that's also going to help with the structural design of the foundation. So those tests need to happen. The ground penetrating radar is a really cool machine that's almost like a lawnmower that just goes around the property and is looking for things we don't know that are underground, like anything that's been buried there or something that we don't want to be surprised by. So that's noiseless, and it's just like a survey. So that's not much. And then the geothermal well test bore, there's going to be one. We're going to have a geothermal well. It's going to have, dozens of wells that are going to be very deep. So right now they're just going to drill. It's a truck with a drill rig, so it's just going to go drill down, and it's probably going to take a little bit of time, and it shouldn't be super noisy, but it's going to provide soil thermal transfer characteristic data. So it's going to be used, that data is going to be used to design the size and the layout of all the geothermal wells, so we know how many we need and how deep they need to go, and that data and the geothermal wells are going to be used to heat and cool the school. So it's all really cool that this stuff is happening, and as these projects continue to happen, we hope to continue to inform the people in and around the sites for any disruptions, and also not only the kids and the families at Stanley, but the other kids at Hadley and Clark, so that everyone's sort of invested in this project and getting excited and understanding what it takes to build a building, and it's kind of exciting. So yeah, it's all great. So that's been happening, and there's lots of behind the scenes work right now, like talking to different boards and committees in towns and getting permits, and yeah, it's exciting. It's been a lot, and we have a lot of different working groups. The superintendent is working with lots of teachers and administrators on design meetings to talk about how the classrooms are going to look and how they want to use them. So it's exciting. That's my update.
All right, that's a big one. Excellent. All right, then I am going to move into the consent agenda, which is designed to expedite the handling of routine and miscellaneous business of the district. The school committee can adopt the entire agenda with one motion. At the request of any committee member, any item can be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda for discussion. We have 8 things tonight. We have executive session minutes from November 4th. We have executive session minutes from November 10th. We have regular session minutes from November 10th. We have our budget subcommittee of the whole minutes from November 30th. We have meetings from we have bargaining minutes from December 2nd. We have 2 donations, one from the Special Olympics to our basketball program. I think I have that right. I'm going to double check that. And then one, a donation from Home Depot to the Hadley Music Program. And last but not least, we have warrant number 22-20 and number 22-22. I will take a motion to approve them as one.
So moved.
I'll take a second.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I think I'm excited about the Hadley donation. It's those big orange Home Depot buckets, and I'm thinking Blue Man Group kind of.
No, sir, is it? Some percussion?
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
And then, just for more information, the Special Olympics has given $2,000, and they give each school who starts a program $2,000 for the first year and $1,500 for year 2. And this was to start the unified basketball program. And more to come. They are going to visit us in January.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Huh.
So.
It's going to be housed here or practicing?
I'm gonna save it for January because it's really, it's exciting.
I got it.
So with that, all in favor?
Aye.
Say aye. I don't know. Perfect, that is unanimous. And then I will enter, oh, I'm sorry. It is, I am blind. 8:45. And let me look and see if there is anybody who is interested. I'm thinking since we have 0 attendees, that we have 0 people interested in speaking for public comment. And so with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The motion is unanimous. It is 8:45. We are adjourned.